Digital marketing is the form of marketing that uses the internet and online-based platforms and technology to reach the devices of prospective customers and clients to promote one's products and services. The devices that you might reach would include desktop and laptop computers, mobile phones or tablets. Have you ever had a conversation with your friend about a subject and then within a few hours you see an advertisement or a social media post which is about that exact same subject? This is the work of digital marketers and online algorithms working together to give you what they think you want and need. Sometimes it's not quite right, others it's exactly what you're looking for, but it's very rarely a coincidence. Another scenario might be that you visit a website and then every other advertisement that you see on a different website is for that last retailer that you visited. Or you visit a website and then you see ads for that company on your Instagram. This is a very clever process that needs a few things going on behind the scenes, but it all falls under digital marketing. The emails you receive with special offers, the results you find on Google when you make a search, or your favourite celebrity endorsing a particular product on their social media, they are all examples of digital marketing in play, and for you as a business, there's no greater skill to learn. In the technology and digital age that we live in, digital marketing will become as desirable a skill as plastering or plumbing, if not more, and it will pay for you to have at least one person within your organisation who understands how it works and how to make the best of it, whether that's you or somebody else. It will save you time and money in the long term. Did you know there are currently 4.66 billion active internet users in the world, which is just short of 2/3 of the entire global population, and they spend an average of 7 hours online every day. With over 4.6 billion internet users across the planet, this presents a greater opportunity to reach an audience than ever before, and therefore a greater opportunity to build a sustainable business. However, there are also 1.8 billion websites registered on the World Wide Web, which also presents a huge challenge in not only shouting the loudest above other organisations in your sector, but shouting with the most relevant and appealing message to find the right audience. With these stats in mind, it makes it all the more vital that you strive to at least understand the benefits and opportunities that come with gaining skills in digital marketing to give you the greatest possible chance of success for your business. There are widely recognised as being 6 types of digital marketing. These are: search engine optimization. This is the practice of ensuring your website is among the first that somebody will discover when they make a search relevant to your business. Pay-per-click advertising. This is the practice of spending money with an online host to advertise your business, usually paid by the number of times that your advertisement is clicked. Social media marketing. This is the use of any number of social media platforms to connect and interact with your audience to increase awareness of your brand, leading to increased revenue and web traffic. Email marketing. This is a direct outreach into your customers' email inboxes, often with news or promotional offers. Content marketing. This is the process of creating different forms of materials for sharing online, such as videos, blogs and articles, which aren't strictly intended to generate a sale, but to engage your audience and to keep you in their minds. Influencer marketing. This is the act of piggybacking onto the existing success of a notable person or organisation to increase brand awareness to a captive audience. We will look deeper at all of the aforementioned types of digital marketing soon, but first, let's talk about the principles of marketing. Part 1, Chapter 3, The Marketing Mix. Your digital marketing strategies are not tied exclusively to how you will reach your prospective customers or the process of actually reaching them. These are simply part of an overall marketing plan that involves 7 key considerations, also known as the marketing mix. These considerations are product, the price, the place, the promotion, the people, the processes, and the physical evidence. They will help you to understand and manage the products and services that you are able to offer and adapt your strategies in the right places to ensure that you're able to grow your business. So let's look at them. Products. So what are the products or services that you're selling? To be able to market what your business offers, it is important to ask yourself the following questions and have legitimate answers. What makes it different to what else is on the market in your industry? How can it be developed further to improve what you do and grow alongside your business? How can you differentiate it between the variations of products? And what level of quality does it hold against other similar products on the market? There's the price. Some people are driven to purchase solely on the price of a product and will strive to get the cheapest possible price, regardless of the quality. Others are more driven by value, which means that they do not mind paying for a more expensive item or service, provided they're getting their money's worth. Others will buy more objectively and simply purchase the product or service that most closely matches their needs. Consider these questions. Where does the price sit versus other similar products on the market? How can you increase the value for the buyer? And is the price visible for immediate purchase, or will you invite inquiries so that you can handle any objections? The next P on the marketing mix is the place. Where will you offer your services? It is important to find the places that your customers are likely to be, whether that's online or in general, and be visible to them for as much as possible. Search engines, social media, trade specialist and local directories, and your website are all places online that you should look to hold a presence for your wares. The more places that your products and services are visible, the more likely it is that you'll receive inquiries and gain sales. Consider where you're going to interact with your prospective clients and how you're going to close the deal. Different people prefer to use different channels to do their business. Don't limit yourself to only doing business by telephone if you can help it. Using a payment provider that allows secure multi-channel options is vital, as the fewer hurdles that you give your prospects in the inquiry stage, the more difficult it is for them to say no. The fourth P in the marketing mix is promotion. This is the aspect of digital marketing which focuses on how to reach your future clients and the process of reaching them, and when done well can transform your operation from small business working on word of mouth and networking contacts to growing company that secures regular jobs from many avenues, because it not only makes it easy for customers to find, but it makes working with such a business a very attractive prospect indeed. You should consider the following aspects of the promotion and build a bigger picture of how you're going to present your business to the world. The first is the branding. The branding of the company should be on point in all aspects. There is a great deal of psychology that goes into the art of brand and branding creation. You will consider the ideal customer, the colours, the fonts, the story, and even the public voice of the company to create a brand that speaks directly to the perfect customer. The second part of this audiobook will give you some fantastic value and guide you through the whole process of building your brand. There's the marketing communications. This is how you contact your prospective customers to let them know that you exist, that you have promotions on, or about a successful job that you've done for a satisfied customer. These communications can take place via search engines, email, social media, in the description of your directory listings, or in your website content. It is important to have a consistent professional message to secure that business. Finally, PR. Public relations is important to securing repeat business and to be the kind of company that new customers would want to work with. In the digital era, it is a form of content marketing in which you will create quality campaigns that generate publicity to get your brand featured within high-profile publications. The term can also be applied to your social media interactions, your reviews, and any other aspect of your reputation management. The fifth P in the marketing mix is people. Whether it's just you as a sole trader, or you have a small team, or indeed a huge workforce, the people who act on the behalf of your business are just as important as an effective advertising campaign, and not only the ones in charge of the promotion of your company. Your people will shape the culture and the image of your brand, so it is important to find those who will not only act in the best interests of your company, but of the customer too. It is especially vital that you embed the right culture, as this will be reflected in the way your customers perceive you. Your company culture should be present in all steps of the customer's journey with you, from marketing to frontline sales to manufacturing and logistics to after sales, in terms of marketing and managing your reputation. The sixth P in the marketing mix is processes. The processes of your marketing efforts will enable you to improve them as you go. Nobody achieved perfection straight away. The process was learned and honed and improved upon. This is how your marketing practice should be. Trial and error until you find what works for you, and then focus on improving that. Use research and development. R&D is an incredibly important aspect of your marketing practices. There are so many different aspects to it that you will need to break a lot of eggs to make the perfect cake. Don't be disheartened by the failure of a campaign. See it as a lesson learned and try something else. Eventually you will learn what works, and then you can focus on getting better at that. Ensure you have a solid IT system to perform your marketing on, where you can manage and maintain your client database, your lead generation, your future and past campaigns, and your data analysis. A solid customer relationship management, or CRM, system is vital to effectively managing your marketing. Part of your processes may include using third-party design agencies, or you may have your own design team. Setting defined brand guidelines for whoever does the work for you will ensure that your marketing is consistent and people can comfortably associate what they see from you with you. Consistency is key. Consider data analysis. Don't send an email, create a social media post set at Google Ad, pay for a web banner on a third-party website or any other act of marketing without having the ability to track its success. There are several objectives to marketing, and it is vital that you understand the different ones to measure success. What went well? What didn't go quite so well? What could you have done differently? It all matters and will ultimately save you time, money and heartache down the line. Finally in the marketing mix is physical evidence. You will need to have a way of effectively keeping track of what it is like to work with you and your company, and you will then use that to create new business. This will come in the form of reviews, surveys, testimonials and case studies. Ensure that your company is available on all mainstream and specialist review sites. Keep a gallery of the work that you have completed on your website and have digital portfolios of successful jobs that can be built upon as you go. Create physical surveys for your clients after doing a job for them. Use this information to present to prospects as social proof that you are great at what you do. You can tell the world how great you are, but there's no better method of validation than others who were once in your prospect's shoes clearly declaring how effectively you solve their problems. It's a lot of work to get everything in the marketing mix right, and you may likely not get it absolutely right first time, but by at least thinking about it, you will stand a much greater chance of succeeding when it comes time to marketing your business, either digitally or otherwise. Part 1, Chapter 4, The Customer Journey. In an ideal world, your business would magically appear in front of your prospects and they would immediately make a purchase. They get a product that they're sure to love and your business grows with your increasing sales. Sadly, it doesn't happen like that, and there is much more work required to ensure your future customers purchase your goods and services. To get to the point of spending personal or company money, a customer goes through several stages and continues through several more after they have spent their cash. This whole process is known as the customer journey or customer funnel, and it is important to clearly identify your objectives according to which part of the journey you are targeting with your digital marketing. Building an understanding of which of your available outlets are best suited to the stages of a customer's journey will massively help you to manage your marketing spend if you have a budget, as well as your time and effort. For example, it is generally unlikely that you will secure a high-value contract or sell a high-ticket item to somebody scrolling through their Facebook feed at 7 a.m. when they've just woken up and they're on the toilet. So don't spend your budget and effort in securing the business here. A much more valuable use of your social media marketing would be to create engaging content that raises their awareness of you, with a call to action which directs them to your website. They're unlikely to make the purchase, but the simple act of clicking your link can set off several digital triggers that enable you to deliver your ads to that customer in the future in the form of what is known as remarketing. There'll be more on this later. The customer journey consists of the following stages: awareness, consideration, decision, and advocacy. We will first look at awareness. First, the customer finds that they have a need or a want. It could be a problem that they need solving, a desire to upgrade an existing solution, or they have a newfound budget to make an investment that they've always wanted. Their first task is to go on a fact-finding mission, sourcing the correct product to fulfill those wants and needs. They may head to Google to read reviews on the best models available. Once they know the product for them, they will then conduct further research into the outlets that they can make their purchase from. Upon searching online, they find your business because you've optimized your website to appear high up on Google, or you have appeared on their social media feed, or indeed they have asked for recommendations and your brand was mentioned. They are now aware that you exist, but they know very little about you, so they will investigate further. The ideal marketing types for the awareness stage of the customer journey would include social media marketing, search engine optimization, pay-per-click advertising, influencer marketing, and content marketing. The second stage of the customer journey is consideration. The customer has been on your website and has seen the services that your company offers. You have what they need, and you have made it to the consideration stage in their journey. They will do one or more of the following. Check review sites to find social proof of the quality of your service. Check the websites of your competitors to find out if your charges are fair and competitive. They will look at your blogs and articles to see if you really know your stuff. They may read further into your products and services, including product descriptions. They will likely check you out on social media to see if your values are aligned with theirs. They may contact you directly to ask questions about the service or products, or negotiate what they feel is a better price. Or if you have a bricks and mortar premises, they may visit that premises to see the product or speak about your services in person. Every aspect of what you do as a seller of goods or services is another part of your storefront. To give yourself the greatest chance of this potential customer choosing to spend their money with you, you should ensure your storefront is well presented, easy to navigate, informative and helpful, and backed up by the kind words of others promoting your brand. If you have all of your digital presence covered to a high standard, then you stand a much greater chance of that prospect contacting you to talk more. It is important that you do not simply allow the customer to make their own way through the consideration stage alone and off their own steam. Contact them regularly to ensure that you have answered all of their questions and addressed their concerns effectively. Persistence pays. It can, and often does, take up to 13 points of contact between you and your customer for them to reach the next step of the journey. When they don't want to continue with you, they will tell you. The ideal marketing types for the consideration stage include search engine optimization, social media marketing, and email marketing. The third stage of the customer's journey is the decision. Once you have successfully handled any and all objections, be it through your comprehensively informative website, the social proof, or by verbal communication and persistence, your prospect becomes a customer. The transaction is made, and it is up to you to ensure that it goes smoothly and successfully. You should work to justify everything that made your customer choose you, because their journey isn't over unless you end it with poor product, service, or after-sales support. The ideal marketing types for the decision stage would include social media marketing, email marketing, and content marketing. The fourth and final stage of the customer journey is advocacy. By providing exemplary service and high-quality products, you set yourself in the forefront of your customer's mind as a great brand to do business with. Their journey, for now, is no longer about finding the solution to their problem, but that doesn't mean that they don't have big value to you as they reach the advocacy stage. They become walking, talking proof that working with your company is a pleasure, and they can act as a mouthpiece for your business in a few ways, including in ways that you can instigate. Be proactive. Request reviews in the places that you're promoted, such as Trustpilot, Google, or on your social media accounts. Social proof is one of the strongest weapons in your arsenal. You can shout from the rooftops that you're a tremendous business to work with, but if nobody else is joining in, then you cannot expect to be taken seriously. If you have given a great service, then your customers should be more than happy to give you a positive quote in response, which in turn will help future prospects who are still in the consideration stage of their journey. Another way in which satisfied customers use their time in the advocacy stage is one which is a little trickier to track, but by asking every customer where they heard about you, you may just find that you have a group of advocates helping to promote your brand. If anybody asks for a recommendation or social media, or tells their friends in person that they need what you supply, a customer who has received fantastic service or competitive prices will give them your name. The ideal marketing types for the advocacy stage would include email marketing, social media marketing, and content marketing. Gaining a good understanding of how best to adapt your marketing to people along the various stages of the customer funnel will help you to effectively deliver messages to them according to their needs. It will also help you to manage your marketing to-do list and build your strategies effectively. Social media is an extremely strong resource for catching people in the awareness and consideration stage of their journey. Build engaging content and run strategic ads that keep your brand in their minds when the need comes. For driving advocacy, why not share images of your customer using the products that you have supplied, tagging them in it with their permission, of course. They may well just share it with their own friends. Email marketing is a strong tool for the consideration, decision, and advocacy stages of a customer's journey. Provide them with help and advice on the products and what they can do to drive a greater trust in your know-how. Send a periodic campaign to existing customers offering a reward or entry into a prize draw for providing you with a review. People are happy to give if they get something in return. Search engine optimization or pay-per-click advertising are both great for supporting your business in finding customers in the awareness or consideration stages. In the modern era, they are the most valuable outlets available to you. Anybody actively searching for the products that you supply and researching your brand is displaying a much greater buying signal than somebody who just stumbles across you on social media. Understanding which tools are best suited for different types of people and the different journeys they were on will undoubtedly assist you in saving time and money. The best time to make mistakes and learn lessons is early on, so experiment with what you do and see where it takes you. You may not likely get it absolutely right first time, but by at least thinking about it, you will stand a much greater chance of succeeding when it comes time to marketing your business, either digitally or otherwise. Part 1, Chapter 5, Digital Marketing versus Traditional Marketing. Whilst traditional marketing does still have its place in promoting your goods and services to the world, it is fighting a losing battle with the digital version, simply because of the availability of consumer data, the more specific targeting that can be done online, and the analytical data that you have at your disposal. This means that you have a better chance of finding the people who are more likely to work with you or buy from you and understand how they came to you in the first place. Some examples of traditional marketing methods are TV or radio ads, print ads such as magazines and newspapers, direct mailing, billboards and signs, and cold call telemarketing. All of these methods do have an effective way of reaching the audience, but in order to reach the very largest audience, the cost will be potentially huge. Traditional advertising will always have a place, and you may want to explore those options. My advice is that if you do look to promote via traditional methods, the seller of the ad space knows how competitive the market for selling ad space is, so always negotiate. You can often get space for less than half of what the going rate is. Also, keep an eye out for last-minute deals because much like the supermarket and their yellow sticker section, they'd rather make something back on the available space than nothing. So, let's dig into the types of traditional marketing available and look at their digital alternative. TV advertising. In this all-consuming, on-demand age, there are hundreds of TV channels available, either online or via the television. There is such a clamour for offering advertising space that it can be quite cheap to get your ad shown on TV, but the price is on a sliding scale according to what kind of audience you will get. For example, a channel deep into the Sky Planner at breakfast time might only cost £50 per slot to show, but it will see a minimal audience, if any at all. If you want to get an ad at prime time on Saturday night whilst Ant and Dec are on, you can expect to pay around £25,000 per slot. On top of the cost, it is fairly difficult for a company to get their ad cleared for use on TV, as it must be first passed through a process called Clearcast. This service ensures that your TV ad is suitable for the audience that you say it is, and doesn't include anything which would land both the channel and you in hot water, for example racist or defamatory messages. There are also very strict technical guidelines that you must follow for your ad to make it to air. If you do intend to create a TV ad, it is worth enlisting the services of a professional outfit to create that advertisement for you, as they will ensure that the technical aspects are as you need them to be. There is an alternative type of TV advertising which straddles both traditional and digital marketing, and it comes in the form of in-stream advertisements. As the world of entertainment changes and becomes much more on-demand, you are able to purchase slots in many channels' on-demand services so that your advertisement appears in the breaks to the people most likely to respond to them. This works much the same as traditional TV advertising, in that the price you pay will be reflected in the average audience count that you're likely to see. The process of clearing it for air remains the same, and you must pass an ad through a third-party content checker to ensure that it is safe to air. Alternatives to television advertising include social media marketing, content marketing, pay-per-click advertising and influencer marketing. Be assured that for £25,000, becoming savvy with and using digital methods will see you gain a much greater and more responsive audience, and for much less of the effort. In-stream advertising is the closest that you will get genuinely targeted, but prices are reflective of the audience sizes. Then there are radio ads. Traditional FM radio advertising is slightly more effective than TV when it comes to gaining a consumer's attention and embedding itself into their subconscious, especially when repeated often across the course of a day, week or month. For something to work effectively on the radio, a catchy jingle is often the way to achieve that. If you ever listen to local commercial radio, there's a good chance that you still remember the telephone number of a double glazing window company or a car dealership. Pricing for radio advertising can vary depending on the station, but expect to pay around £500 for a week-long campaign of 30-second ads, not including your costs to produce the ad, on your town's local radio station. It may cost £2,500 on your county's regional station, and it will cost upwards of £10,000 to feature on a national station. The alternatives to radio advertising would be social media marketing or content marketing. Music streaming and sharing platforms such as Spotify and SoundCloud offer free versions of their services which are funded through advertising revenues, and Spotify in particular starts at around £250 for a campaign that you can actively track the progress of in terms of clicks to your website or listens of your advertisement, and you can target the interests and mood of your prospective clients. You can use their platform itself to create the ad, reducing not just the costs, but your time. Another method of traditional advertising would be print ads. Newspapers remain a hugely popular method of consuming news, and in particular tabloid papers such as The Sun, The Daily Mirror and The Daily Mail, so it is difficult to argue that there is no value in advertising in a national newspaper. However, because of the massive competition from online outlets, they can be quite expensive. Prices are usually charged at SCC, or single column centimetre, which is around 1 centimetre squared. So, for example, if you wanted to run a colour advertisement in one of the mentioned papers at £180 per SCC, and you wanted your ad to be 10 cm by 5 cm, which isn't huge, you can expect to pay in the region of £9,000 for that one advertisement. If your business serves the local and surrounding areas, a much less expensive avenue would be to run a print ad in your local paper. You will find that an ad in a local newspaper with an audience that holds plenty of potential for generating interest will set you back between £250 and £1,000 per ad. Specialist magazines are an opportunity to promote directly to the people who hold a specific interest in the products and services that you offer, or to the people for whom your products will solve a problem. For example, premium quality garage floor tiles being promoted in a classic car owners magazine. The price of a full-colour ad in one of these publications will depend upon the number of readers and subscribers that the magazine gets, and can cost you anything from £300 for a small ad up to tens of thousands of pounds for a full-page ad in the likes of Cosmopolitan. It is recommended that if you do choose to work with a print media publication for an advertisement, that you are able to negotiate online ads into the price. The alternative to print advertisement would be pay-per-click advertising, social media marketing, and content marketing. Targeted social media and Google ads will serve you much better than spending 5 figures on an advert in a daily, weekly or monthly publication. Smaller specialist websites and blogs will also charge much less for a branded animated banner on their site, and you can negotiate prices for a rolling contract, and in the interests of search engine optimization, that backlink from an established site to your own can be extremely valuable. Another method of traditional advertising would be direct mailing. Leaflets in the local newspaper have been a classic marketing technique for several decades, or like takeaways and local councillors, taking the time to go door to door to drop leaflets through the letterboxes of everybody in the area is a surefire way of getting at least your brand seen. Larger companies such as insurance companies, as well as cleaning or stationery brands, do continue to send out prospective letters and catalogues to gain some mail order business. At most recent checking, Royal Mail charged around £700 to post them to 10,000 households, with the cost of that many A5 leaflets coming in at around £100. The widely reported figure for response rates on a leaflet campaign is no greater than 1%, so you would potentially receive 100 inquiries from a campaign. That's not a bad return if you put the effort into following up and keeping on at your leads and prospects. Remember, it'll take up to 13 contacts to close that deal, so ensure that you're persistent. An alternative to direct mailing would be email marketing. Without the outlay of printing of the materials, you can send thousands of emails to subscribers and businesses at almost no cost. It is worth investing in an email campaign management system, however, such as MailChimp or Campaign Monitor, which can enable you to send thousands at a time. They do often have a sliding price scale, so if you have 500 people in your subscriber list, it will cost you less per month than a business that has 10,000. Using a digital alternative will also enable you to keep track of the people who respond to what you send them, as well as experiment with the types of content that you send. Billboards and signs, or out-of-home advertising, are another method of traditional advertising. Large-scale promotional adverts at the roadside, at bus stops and on buses are a surefire way of getting plenty of eyes to see your business. The average cost of a large billboard is around £200 per week. A busy bus stop advertisement would be around £150 a week. It is great for exposure of your brand and not too expensive really. The bus stop ad, for example, has a captive audience, so putting your web address details may spark enough interest in the viewer to take the time to get their phone out and search for your business. A billboard ad would certainly demand that your prospect first of all sees the ad and then remembers to search for it once they're no longer behind the wheel of their car. Alternatives to out-of-home advertising would be social media marketing, pay-per-click advertising, and influencer marketing. Any digital form of advertising can easily do much of the prospect's work for them. Nobody likes to be asked to work for the payoff, especially when it's you selling things to them. A simple call to action such as click here for more information or click to visit the website is just the right amount of work that they'd like to do. Social media and display advertisements are flashing billboards that follow the prospect around, based on their interests and search history. Influencer marketing is their favourite online celebrity acting as the billboard in their favourite place. And finally, cold call telemarketing. Very much a method of marketing that is on the way out in terms of public acceptance, cold calling should be reserved for business-to-business prospecting to ensure that you remain on the right side of privacy regulations and GDPR. When used effectively, cold calling businesses can be a valuable tool for generating leads and for mining information. For example, a call to introduce your service and to ask questions about the problems that the prospect is encountering that you might be able to solve with your service might enable you to mould the way that you present your products to future prospects and how you market your service. You may even secure vital referrals and leads from the practice. However, cold calling can be time-consuming, and many business owners and decision-makers are closely protected by what is known as a gatekeeper. Often this gatekeeper is in the form of a receptionist who will ensure the decision-maker is given the opportunity to choose whether to speak with you or not, and LinkedIn research suggests that less than 2% of all cold calling results in an initial meeting. An alternative to this would be email marketing. If you're going to contact a business prospect out of the blue, an email will give them a chance to absorb the information on their own terms and make a decision on whether to take the idea further. You may even use the email to advise the prospect that you will be calling within 3 days to discuss the matter. This may then give you the all-important ammo of advising the gatekeeper that your prospect may be expecting your call. In summary, traditional marketing definitely has its place in the world of promoting your products and services to the public, but digital marketing offers a greater, targeted reach with a better understanding of what works and what doesn't, and it is usually available at a much lower cost. It may be stating the obvious, but if you run traditional campaigns, always ask your customer where they heard about you, and if you find something that works, then you should absolutely do it again. I hope this section has given you food for thought, and if you are used to running traditional campaigns for your existing business, then you should now be aware of which types of digital marketing that you might like to trial. Part 1, Chapter 6, Search Engine Optimization. This section is a brief introduction to search engine optimization, which is also known as SEO. If you have a company website or have worked with digital agencies before, then SEO is a term that you may be familiar with. In the broadest sense, it is the art of creating a web page that has content that a search engine might see as the most relevant to a particular search. Arguably the most valuable to any business, given that there are roughly 5.6 billion Google searches each day across the globe. Having a website that can appear on the first page of a search engine gives you a much greater chance of receiving traffic to your website, and these are the visitors which come to you absolutely free, other than the initial cost of optimizing the site. If you can figure out how to do that yourself, then you're onto a winner. It is one of the most difficult to get right, due to the digital landscape changing every year, sometimes several times, with updates and changes driven by the brains at the likes of Google and Microsoft. The slightest alteration to the algorithms can undo even the strongest of work, but the work to get your brand onto the first couple of pages of Google is absolutely vital to maintaining a successful digital platform and growing your business online. Did you know that Google controls over 92% of the search engine market share? Understanding what drives Google to put one page higher than another for any relevant search can add huge value to your business, and there are many actions that contribute to a successful landing page. There are also many actions that can see your website banned from appearing on any search engine or their affiliate sites. This section is going to shine a light on some of the most important aspects. Content and keywords. Once upon a time, it was a simple case of ensuring that your web page had as many instances of the keywords that you wanted to appear for in the searches as possible, and the search engine would see your page as an authority in that subject. However, as artificial intelligence grows smarter, the act of keyword stuffing is seen as bad behavior and can see your page lose out to others that are seen as more relevant and valuable. Now it is much more vital to write content that is relevant to the search itself. Your keywords can and should appear as often as they need to, but only in the context of the message that you're trying to get across. In the 2020s, the emphasis is on writing web pages that are interesting and offer value to the searcher. Don't write web pages to try to get to the top of Google. Write relevant web pages that people will want to read, and Google will do the rest. Then there is the user experience. As more and more people use smartphones to browse the internet and make online searches, it has become not only desirable to make your website user-friendly for mobiles, but absolutely imperative. When building any web page, consider how it might look on a smartphone. By focusing on making your website beautiful on a desktop computer, but neglecting how it looks on a mobile, is a cardinal sin, and the experience of the user when searching on their preferred device is something that can cause the likes of Google to mark your web page down. Did you know that in 2020, 68% of online searches worldwide were done on a smartphone versus 29% on a desktop? If it takes too long to load, your visitor will more than likely click the back button and try elsewhere. If they try to click a link but then there's a sudden shift in the layout and then they end up clicking on something else, then you'll get the same result. This is all defined as the user experience, or UX. Google's AI knows how long your page takes to load. It knows which parts take the longest and whether this will cause a poor visitor experience. If it finds something it doesn't like, then you can say goodbye to page 1. Then there is the authority. Search engines are now more focused on offering value to their visitors than ever before. Remember, they are not hosting your web page, they are simply an index of the billions of available websites on the internet. They must make the experience of searching on their platform as smooth and accurate as possible, so that people continue to use them. Therefore, generating stronger advertising revenue. They see your page as a reflection of the quality that a user can expect to receive from their query, and one of the key drivers of them presenting your content as the answer is the authority you have in your subject. There are technical aspects such as the age of your web domain and how long your business has maintained relevance to the search, which will help to show you as an authority. However, this is simply a solid foundation that you need to build on. Blogs and articles that explore different angles of the subject will greatly elevate your authority in your subject, and therefore the likes of Google and Bing will present you as an operation that will add value to their users' searches. Also important in search engine optimization are backlinks. Having your website connected to others is of huge importance to its performance when appearing on a search engine results page, or SERP. You can have the most informative, authoritative website on the entire internet, but if it is held alone, unconnected to any other strand of the net, then Google's automated web crawlers will be highly unlikely to find it to index it. What you need are backlinks. The World Wide Web is exactly that, a web of sites and pages, and the more other strands of the web that link to your site, the more often it is passed through by the search engine's crawlers. The more popular and visited the site is that links to yours, the better. There are several ways that you can gain a backlink from other sites, including writing and sending press releases in the hope that large sites will pick up the story, writing guest blogs on other relevant sites, or even doing something with your social media that goes viral and the story is picked up organically. I recommend that you don't pay for access to a backlink network, as this is deemed a punishable act by the likes of Google, and you may find that your site is banned from appearing on search engines in the future if it is found to be part of it. There are many other factors that make up what a search engine considers relevant and able to provide personal value to a user, as well as the technical aspects that you need to take into consideration. But for now, I hope this brief introduction has given you food for thought. Part 1, Chapter 7, Pay-per-click advertising. If you have a budget available and want to guarantee visibility on search engines and across social media, it is possible to create advertisements for specific products and services that target exactly who you're looking to attract. This type of marketing campaign is known as pay-per-click, or PPC, because you will place a budget limit on the effort and you will be billed a variable amount each time a prospective client clicks on your link, advertisement or inquiry form. Once your daily budget has been exceeded, then the advertisement will stop running until the next day. The main platforms that you would use a PPC campaign on are search engines, such as Google Ads, and social media, such as Facebook ads. We'll first look at search engine pay-per-click. As it is by far the most used search engine, I'm going to focus heavily on the Google brand of search engine and its associated services. Search any product on Google and you'll be presented with several results on the search engine results page, also known as a SERP. More often than not, you will see that the top 2 or 3 results are accompanied by ad beside them. These positions are what a business running a PPC campaign will pay for. It presents a great opportunity to gain vital visibility for your business in many different ways, although if you're not careful, it can be a very costly effort. The cost of the click can vary massively, from a few pence per click up to more than £50, depending on the audience that you're looking at, the competition you're facing from other advertisers, and the actual value to your business of receiving that click. For example, as of November 2022, you could expect to pay between 10 pence and 47 pence for the term lawnmower if you were a garden tool retailer. But if you were selling card payment solutions, you could expect to pay anything between £4 and 8 pence and £12.50 for a single click. It pays to do your research ahead of time to ensure that you're not wasting money on expensive keywords. The benefit of using Google Ads for your PPC campaigns is that it undoubtedly has the largest reach of any other search engine, having a 78% share of the search pay-per-click market. It also provides you with the ability to use videos to advertise directly on YouTube, since that platform was owned by Google. You can also present your business in the form of display ads, which are smaller reminders that appear on any of Google's partner websites. Have you ever visited a website and then you visit a different site and ads for the previous website's products are shown? This is a display ad in action. You can also insert ads into the Gmail accounts of users, as well as create ads which will appear in certain free applications that are downloaded from the Google Play Store. Aside from the sometimes high cost per click, or CPC, of advertising with Google Ads, one of the major drawbacks of PPC advertising is known as click fraud. This can be the act of a person or organisation maliciously clicking your advertisements to spend your budget quickly, meaning that it is not only visible to fewer genuine users, but it costs you more money. Did you know that 1 in 5 of all search pay-per-click clicks are fraudulent? Click fraud can also occur when your ads are hosted on a Google partner website and the host site is paid a nominal reward for each click that comes via their domain. Some unscrupulous webmasters will simply ensure they receive more clicks than they might genuinely do otherwise. Did you know that 36% of display ad clicks are fraudulent? The major alternative to Google's ads is via Microsoft's Bing search engine, which has the second biggest market share. Benefits to using Bing are that, as there are fewer users, the cost per click can often be some way lower than Google Ads, and you can gain access to place ads in similar places, such as within Outlook email accounts, on Xbox Live home screens, and the Windows App Store. Aside from the potential for click fraud, Bing has a much smaller reach than Google does, so while it is still useful if you have a budget to spend, it may have fewer successes. My opinion is that if you do have the budget to spend, then Google Ads is vital for reaching customers that you may not reach otherwise. However, I suggest you keep a close eye on your spend, don't allow yourself to be pressed into spending more budget than you can afford to, and ensure that the effort is worth it. The simplest way of knowing this is calculating a return on ad spend. This is the amount of revenue you generate for every £1 that you spend on advertising. It is not the be-all and end-all of measuring your success, but it is a good way to do it as a guide and to understand whether your pay-per-click ad campaign is paying for itself and more. Here's how to calculate your return on ad spend. Your business spends £500 on a pay-per-click campaign in a single month. That campaign generates £1,750 of net direct revenue. 1,750 divided by 500 equals 3.5. This means that your pay-per-click campaign has generated £3.50 for every £1 that you have spent. Therefore, each £1 you spend gives you £2.50 of profit. Not bad. But what's a good return on ad spend? Well, it depends on your industry and the margins that your products and services are able to create. You might be pleased with that £3.50 return on ad spend, but remember to factor in the other costs when measuring the success. The main one would be the cost of the product or the service itself. So, for example, let's assume that your profit margins are a flat 50%. £1,750 times 50% equals profit of £875. 875 divided by your £500 spend equals £1.75. You have now generated 75p of profit for every £1 you spend. Many companies see a return on ad spend of £2 for every £1 as good, but it is on the basis of what you see as a success and what your margins are. Now let's look at social media pay-per-click advertising. The other major platform for finding customers where they are is through social media, and as with the other major players in the search game, each of the major players in the social media game has their own version of paid advertising, which include Facebook ads, LinkedIn ads, Instagram ads, Twitter ads, TikTok ads, and Spotify ads. Which one is right for you will be determined by what your business sells, where your customers are most likely to be active, and what your objectives are. For most platforms, there are two types of post sponsoring, a boosted post and a targeted ad. They will often appear on the timelines of the people they aim for with a sponsored tag to let them know that they are a paid advertisement. If you have researched social media advertising previously, you may have been told that there is no place for a boosted post and targeted ads are the only method that you should consider. But it's something that I disagree with. There are places for both of these types of sponsored post. I'll first look at boosted posts. It's a sad fact that social media providers will only ever deliver your content to a very small percentage of your followers organically. Facebook, for example, will deliver your posts to the timelines of around 5% of your followers. That means for every 20 followers you have, only one of them will see your post, and it will usually be the most engaged of your followers that will see it. If you have something important to say and want more of your followers to see it, then a small boost to people who like my page and their friends will increase the percentage of your followers that see your content. It is something that's probably best reserved for your most valuable or engaging content, but it is worth it, as the more of your followers that you can gain engagement from, the more likely they are to see your next post organically. The other type of sponsored post would be a targeted ad. Now, this type of sponsored post is one that I recommend that you use when trying to find new customers and attract new followers to your business page or website. Each of the social media providers will have a different series of defined demographics and interests that you can tap into and find an appropriate audience for your advertisements, so that you can really narrow down the type of person that you hope will see that ad. You can target an audience based on their gender, their age, location, salary, job title, interests, other pages and profiles that they engage with, their family status, and even recent life events such as engagements and births. The more you narrow it down, the smaller the expected reach becomes, but the social media platform will give you an estimated figure in terms of the number of people who are likely to see it. This is called the impressions or the reach, and the number of people who might like, comment, or click on it. These are the engagements, and this will depend on your objective. There are a number of end goals available for your sponsored post, and it is important to understand what each one might achieve for your business. Are you more interested in gaining website traffic, new followers, sales leads, or direct revenue? There will be a route available for you for each, and who your ad is delivered to will be determined by the objective that you set. For example, If you create a video and post it to Facebook and Instagram, which are both companies owned by the Meta organization, and select the objective of gaining more video views, then the provider will deliver the ad to the people it deems most likely to watch. If you set the objective of gaining clicks to your website, then it will deliver to the people who it thinks are most likely to click the link. There is something to consider with Facebook advertising which is called the pixel. Remember that time that you visited a brand's website and then you opened your Facebook profile to see advertisements for that brand? Well, the chances are that you were tagged by the pixel. Most businesses that have a website and a social media presence will have a tiny piece of code attached to their site which pins itself to your own digital presence. It is the social media equivalent of dropping you an email to remind you that you have things in your basket, or a tiny salesperson that follows you from the shop that you are browsing, reminding you to come back and purchase that jacket that you are looking at. It's a very clever process, and one which you can use for your own business, either to do it yourself or to track what your competitors are doing. Visit your competitor's website and then visit your Facebook profile if you have one. If you begin to see ads for your competitor, then you know that they have a pixel set up, and you should be doing so yourself. When using social media advertising, do bear in mind that your customer is not necessarily actively looking to buy anything in the same way that they might be when they search Google for your products. Think about your own experience of social media if you use it. Your main personal objective is to interact with friends and family, or follow the latest news, or find content that entertains you. A social media ad can be perceived as an unwelcome intrusion on the experience, especially if you are targeting a whole new audience. Of course, if you're a retailer of smaller, more novel products such as handcrafted jewellery or personalised products, then you may find social media to be a hugely influential method of gaining sales and building a solid following. Countless artists and handmade goods retailers have built an amazing following through sharing images of their products on Instagram. Personalised images that a user can build by adding themselves and their family members in, for example, or pinpointing a location where they first met their spouse. These are big business and have that spontaneous appeal that some larger ticket products might not have. In the grand scheme, social media ads are a great way of raising awareness of who you are and what you do. By creating engaging and visually appealing ads, or mysterious ads that tap into a user's curiosity, you can place yourself as close to the forefront of their mind when they eventually have a need for what you do. Part 1, Chapter 8, Social Media Marketing. Love it or hate it, social media plays a very large part of the world's communications. It has assisted global connectivity more than any other form of media, and it is only likely to get stronger. Whether you want to share news and views, pictures and videos, find friendship and love, sell your handmade goods, or simply argue the toss with celebrities, there is no denying that social media has helped all of that to happen on a daily basis. Did you know that there are 53 million active social media users in the UK? This is almost 78% of the entire nation. They spend an average of 110 minutes per day on social media. With so many people actively engaging with social media, it's a massive opportunity for you and your business to not only reach new customers, but to build a loyal repeat customer base. Your business social media profile is an opportunity to show and build a unique personality that matches your brand values and speaks directly to the type of people that you want to attract through your doors, both physically and digitally. The questions that you need to be answering when building your social media plan are: what do I want to achieve? Are you looking to generate direct sales, build a following, interact more with existing customers as part of a wider community, or all of the above? If you have a defined objective, then you'll be much better prepared with your social activity. Who am I targeting? You should always have an audience in mind. By knowing who it is that you're talking to, you will have a fuller idea of how your personality will grow. Will you present the image of the jester, making your audience laugh, or will you present an elegant and classy personality? Do you intend to educate your audience or excite them? What kind of content will I create? Will you educate, inform, or entertain? If you want to build a substantial following on your social media platforms, then you will need to create content that can not only keep your audience engaged, but make them want to share it with others. And which platform will I use? There are several platforms available, each of them popular with different demographics and used in different ways. As a business, it's important to know which ones might work best for your products and services, and the content that you intend to create for them. Let's now discuss some of those platforms. Facebook has 2.9 billion global users. The biggest and most used social network in the world, Facebook is the most all-encompassing of the platforms available. People will use it to chat with one another, join groups of like-minded people to create friendships, share images and videos, buy and sell personal items, play games, and consume the content that they enjoy. Do use visual content such as videos and bright images. Videos are widely recognized as the most engaging form of media on Facebook, so consider behind-the-scenes type content, which gives your brand a human side. The average attention span here is less than 3 seconds, so make them engaging as quickly as possible. Don't be too downhearted when Facebook doesn't deliver your posts to everybody that follows you. Remember, only about 5% of your followers will be shown your content organically, so it's important to find a loyal band of followers who will share your content. Twitter has 436 million global users. It is a fast-paced platform that remains on immediate trend at all times. Users will share news and views in posts that are limited to 280 characters and can share up to 4 images or videos of up to a length of 140 seconds. Posts on Twitter have the shortest lifespan of any platform, with each post lasting no more than around 20 minutes. The reason for this is that users post so regularly that your post can sink beneath all of the others very quickly. If you create a tweet that manages to pick up plenty of traction quite quickly, and it goes viral, then you can expect to see it last for much longer. Do keep an eye on trending topics and try to find subjects that fit in well with your brand's values, products and services. Use the hashtags associated with those trends and open your brand up to a potentially millions of new users. Do not use derogatory language or use your brand's account to wade into sensitive and controversial political subjects. Twitter is notorious for creating celebrities out of brands and people for all of the wrong reasons. Instagram has 1.5 billion global users. The image and video sharing platform owned by Meta, previously known as Facebook, is an exceptionally popular social network. You can share up to 10 images in each standard post, or videos of up to 60 seconds. You can also share images and 15-second snippet videos using the Stories function, videos up to 90 seconds using the Reels feature, or even go live with an interactive feature. Your most engaged followers will see your posts when they appear online, and others can discover your profile when you use well-placed hashtags. Do research the hashtags that your competitors use. Look at the types of content they create and which ones get the most engagement. Don't be scared to use similar hashtags to reach the same audience. Don't use irrelevant but popular hashtags to increase your engagement. Whilst you might get a few extra likes on your video or images, they have little to no value as the people engaging are not who you are looking to attract. LinkedIn has 810 million global users. LinkedIn is a social network with a slight difference, in that it is designed as a professional business networking platform. People are much more likely to be browsing LinkedIn in a professional capacity for their jobs, so it is a valuable tool for business-to-business networking. You may not necessarily gain a huge number of sales directly from your business page via LinkedIn, but it is a great tool for building your own personal brand as an industry expert in your field, and for getting to know others who have much greater experience. Do post content that people will want to consume. Engage with the posts of others if you want to see them engage with yours. Your LinkedIn reach is increased if your content is able to hold the attention of those who pause to read the content. A neat trick is to ensure your post is over 140 characters, as this is where they will see the See More link, which increases what is known as the dwell time. Don't mistake LinkedIn for Facebook in the type of content that you post. Sharing an image of your lunch will 100% turn your prospective clients off, and they're highly likely to tell you as much too. YouTube has 2.6 billion global users. The video sharing platform now owned by Google, YouTube is one of the original platforms used by content creators to build an audience and eventually a fan base, and is reportedly the second most visited website on the internet. There is almost no question that cannot be answered by a video on YouTube, with how-to guides and tutorials in their millions, as well as music videos, episodes of classic TV shows, exclusively created entertainment shows, live streams, and all manner of reviewers. It is a great tool for you as the industry expert to share your skills and knowledge with followers. As it is intrinsically tied to Google, YouTube is also a great way to get yourself discovered on search engines. Beyond this, if you gain enough subscribers and your videos are watched enough, then you may also be able to monetize your video content by taking a cut of advertising revenues. Do share your channel with your followers on other platforms and gain vital subscribers. When you're posting great new content, then set it as a premiere and invite your followers to watch and comment together to gain engagement and stay in their minds for longer. Don't expect to become a viral sensation straight away. Building a successful YouTube channel is a long and difficult path for most people and brands. TikTok has 1 billion global users. The most recent social platform to capture the imagination of the world and one which is creating global celebrities regularly. It is a video sharing platform that allows users to directly create content of up to 60 seconds and upload videos created on other platforms up to 3 minutes. Initially gaining popularity amongst the younger Generation Z, but rising in popularity with users of all ages, it is used by creators to post short content in the form of trending dances and performances, jokes and stunts, how-to guides and vlogs. Videos are discoverable using hashtags, sounds and music, and building a loyal follower base. Do keep an eye on the latest trends and get your staff involved if they're up for it. This might be a choreographed dance to a popular song, or it may be a challenge to take on. Try to create your content directly on TikTok, as it is much more likely to be picked up and shared. Don't forget to research and follow TikTok influencers that might share values with your brand, and therefore might share their vast audience with you in a collaboration. This leads us to influencer marketing. There are more platforms, but these are arguably the biggest and most successful of them all, and each platform will have its own ready-made influencers that you can work with for a fee. There are 4 defined types of influencers, which are nano-influencers, who have between 1,000 and 10,000 followers. Micro-influencers have between 10,000 and 100,000 followers. Macro-influencers have between 100,000 and a million followers. And celebrity influencers have more than 1 million followers. Which one is best for you will really depend on the type of product and service that you offer, the budget that you have available, how you want the influencer to promote your stuff, and to whom you would like to promote your stuff. Generally speaking, the larger the following that an influencer has, the more expensive their time and effort will be. For example, you might have to pay Kim Kardashian $1 million to vouch for your brand to her 288 million followers. Stacey Solomon may be closer to 10,000 per post to her 5 million followers. These kinds of numbers to gain access to potentially vast audiences could be worth it if you're supplying the kinds of products that their followers will be interested in. It's not absolutely set in stone that you will need to spend that kind of money for these types of influencers to share your product. Some of them may well be a fan of your stuff and might just help you out in exchange for some free product. It's always worth asking. But what if you're not supplying a product that will be instantly desirable by millions on the say-so of a super celebrity? What if you supply a niche product that a particular industry has a great use for? This is where nano, micro and macro influencers can come in, and they are widely reported in the marketing industry to be the next important trend in digital marketing, in particular the micro-influencer. With an audience between 10,000 and 100,000 followers, micro-influencers are niche content creators with a more engaged following. People follow them specifically to hear what they have to say on a particular subject, as they are seen as an authority in it. They may be much more likely to accept your products and services in exchange for a short video about the product itself. They will also, however, be more likely to give an honest appraisal of the product, so make sure you are confident in its quality. So the decision when working with influencers of any kind is choosing whether you want to reach the largest possible audience, but with a lower chance of gaining a conversion, or reaching a smaller, more engaged audience with a higher chance of conversion. If you are approached by anybody claiming to be an influencer who wants to promote your goods but they don't have the 10 million followers that you might expect an influencer to have, consider the following. How many followers they have on each platform that they intend to promote you on. How many engagements their posts get. What kind of content they post, and how they speak about the brands that they work with. You may just find yourself a relatively cheap but very effective micro-influencer. Part 1, Chapter 9, Email Marketing. Email marketing is a potentially very powerful digital outreach tool that helps brands to connect with customers and prospects by sending direct communications, usually personalized, into their email inboxes. It is estimated that the global value of email marketing exceeds $7.5 billion and will increase by a further $10 billion by 2027. So, despite people seeming more wary of the emails they receive from brands than ever before, it remains a huge tool for businesses looking to grow their brands. Whilst any email communication that you have with your clients can technically be deemed email marketing, there are several types of specific outreach that an email might fall under, with specific objectives. Some of these are an introductory email. Intended to set a prospect on the journey to becoming a new customer, this may be in the form of a welcome email to somebody who has created an account, or a prospecting email to a business that you may feel will benefit from your goods and services. There are retention emails. These are intended to convince a lapsed customer to return to your business or brand. It could be an email reminder that the customer still has goods in their basket, or a warm reminder that they made an inquiry with you a couple of months ago and you want to follow up on it. There are newsletter emails, which give news and information to subscribers about your brand, often with exclusive content or promotions as a reward for the continued loyalty. Promotional emails are intended to raise awareness of your most recent special offers, often directed to people who have showed an interest in the products previously and have agreed to receive updates. There are feedback requests emails. These are a great way to continue the relationship with your customer after the transaction, and you can request that they give you a review on any platforms that you use. Social proof is a great selling tool. And then relevant lead developing emails. Once a customer has made an inquiry but not yet made a decision, it is worth providing them with additional tools that might help them to make that leap. Blog posts, help and advice, and videos around the product or service may just present you as a trustworthy authority. When using email marketing, be sure to create a solid strategy with objectives and ways of defining the success of each campaign. It is not enough to simply send the emails on an as and when basis and hope for some success. There should be some logic and forward planning to each email campaign that you send, as well as uniformed branding to ensure that all emails to subscribers, customers and prospects that receive from you can be easily identified and grow a sense of familiarity with your brand. So, how do you build an email strategy? Let's have a look. First, you would define your objectives. Something you'll notice in most digital marketing plans is that it all starts with an objective. What are you wanting to achieve? Sales, relationship development or web traffic, a telephone call or a meeting with the decision maker. By understanding what you want to achieve, you can directly mold the content of your email and the follow-up strategy accordingly. Think about the 6 types of email discussed. How might they be used, and who might you need to target with them? You would then define and build your audience. One of the most difficult aspects of email marketing is building a subscriber list that's substantial enough to make a difference. Use your social media platforms, invoices, website, brochures, in fact, any other method of marketing that you use should have a call to action that invites everybody that encounters your brand to subscribe to receive email communications from you. Some examples are on your website. Make sure you have an option to subscribe to hear more from you on most pages. If you have a savvy IT team available, set up a pop-up that will appear when a customer is about to leave your site. Make it a major feature of your social media campaigns, or have a link featured in your business email signature that diverts to a subscription page. If you are at the very early stage of your business and you want to aim high, it is possible to purchase ready-made mailing lists in the industry sector of your choice from marketing companies, but do be aware that whilst they might suggest that they are GDPR approved, the customer must really approve your business to contact them, and you must provide them with an easy-to-find way to unsubscribe from any further communications from you, should you send any unsolicited emails their way. Since the introduction of the General Data Protection Regulations, or GDPR, in 2018, when people provide organisations with their personal data, they now have to opt in to receiving marketing material, where previously they had to opt out. You are no longer permitted to store or use consumers' personal data unless they expressly consent. This is very important to know, as penalties for breaching GDPR can be crippling for a business. Business-to-business dealings are not covered by GDPR, so you remain permitted to send outreach emails to prospective business customers, which can be a valuable tool. You then need to choose the type of emails that you want to send. The type of email you send will depend on the customer or prospect's stage of their journey with you. Some examples are subscribers. Send them a thanks for subscribing or a welcome email, or a seasonal sale email or a monthly newsletter. For business prospects, you might want to send an introduction email or an abandoned shopping cart email. And then to your customers, maybe a thanks for your purchase or an upselling or cross-selling opportunity, or informative emails highlighting best practice with products, or to request a review. Different types of email will need different types of visuals. For example, if you're sending a professional email to a business prospect that you're hoping to get a meeting or a phone call with, then you should go with a carefully thought out text-based email explaining who you are, what you do, and how your product or service can solve any problems that they have. For subscribers, they will expect to see personalization that makes it feel more like an email for them, rather than a blanket email to your hundreds or thousands of other subscribers. Use uniformed visuals with colours, logos, and other information in consistent locations. This goes equally for your existing customers. Consistency breeds trust in your brand as a professional outfit. You'll then create your separate mailing lists as per your objective or your audience. Your list of contacts and subscribers will all need to be split into defined contact lists. This saves time and helps you to accurately select the people that you would like to send a particular message to at any one time. Consider splitting them up into lists by the receiver type, subscribers, prospects, customers, etc. The email type. Is it an introduction, a newsletter, a request for a review? The industry. If you have products that can serve different industries, then consider splitting them accordingly so that your message is relevant to all. And then your objective. Are you trying to get sales, raise awareness, retain a customer, or inform a customer? Try to automate as much as possible. Sending emails is a time-consuming practice, and manually sending one at a time can quickly become worth less than the time that you're investing into it. Find an email campaign management host such as MailChimp or Campaign Monitor, and it will be worth the minor investment to manage sending hundreds at a time and scheduling them when to send them. They will also provide full personalization of each email and allow you to analyze the results of your campaigns. Do experiment with campaigns and analyze the data. Don't just send an email and expect the revenue to come rolling in. Finding the right type of campaign that hits all of the right notes with your mailing lists will take time, plus a lot of trial and error. Keep track of all your email campaign results, including how many get delivered, how many are clicked to open, the actual click-through rate, how many people clicked the link within your email, how many people unsubscribed and chose not to receive communications from you, or how many report your email as spam or junk. This is very important because it can damage your business reputation. The bounce rate, what percentage of those emails went to an invalid email address? By tracking this data, it will help you to find out what is working best and what is turning your mailing list off. For example, if you have a link to your website at the bottom of the email and you find that the click-through rate is very low, try to place it further up on the next one. If you use a very long, drawn-out subject line in one campaign and the click-to-open rate is very low, try doing the next one with only 3 words. Small things like this can make all of the difference, and it's up to you to find the killer combination that works for your business and your mailing lists. There are lots of other considerations that you should take into account when building an email marketing strategy, such as the layouts and the templates of your emails, or when your mailing lists are most likely to open them, and building a more solid understanding of how to use the data at your disposal, and finding neat tricks that can help you to maximize on the other strategies that you have. Part 1, Chapter 10, Content Marketing. The days of presenting a product to an audience alongside a series of features, advantages, benefits, and a bright and clear price are on their way out. In a world where advertising is visible in almost everything that we do, people have grown much more wary of being sold to, and are less likely now to respond to blatant brand advertising than ever before. In fact, if they do respond, it will be more than likely to click the button that says hide all posts and advertising from your brand. So, you have a product to promote, but an increasingly difficult to infiltrate audience. What's the solution? Content marketing. What is content marketing? Content marketing is the variety of digital marketing that involves creating materials such as blogs, videos, eBooks, podcasts, articles and social media posts that don't necessarily try to sell a product, but instead raise awareness of and create an interest in the brand itself, so that when a customer is ready to consider making a purchase of the products that you supply, your brand is at the forefront of their mind. This, in turn, will increase your revenues and brand loyalty. Effective content marketing is delivered in a method that feels like it is supposed to be there. It offers value to the audience in the form of information, education, or entertainment. It teaches them how to do something. It gives honest opinions on subjects. It makes them laugh. It doesn't jolt them from their web search or their social media session with a bright demand to make a purchase or visit a website. There are many types of content that you can use to build a content marketing strategy with many different objectives that your content assets can help you to achieve. This section is going to look at some of those types and the objectives that you can aim for with them. So, some content asset forms are a blog post, a video, an image, a podcast, or an eBook. Let's look deeper into the varieties of each. Blog posts are a great cost-effective way of delivering content to your audience. They can be adapted to suit almost any purpose in terms of the message to the reader, and they do allow for a degree of salesmanship within the content. An added benefit of a blog post is that a well-written and informative piece of content can help your website to appear higher on the likes of Google for the keywords that might bring new customers to you via their web searches. You should try how-to guides on using your products, for example, how to install something. Top 5 lists of subjects around your products, for example, 5 top uses for. White paper style analysis of changes in your industry, for example, industry statistics that you can't ignore. Maybe put a spotlight on your customer with customer spotlights to promote their brand and what they do and give something back. And also you could get industry experts in to do guest blogs which can increase your website's authority in the subject. Video content is a very versatile and on-trend form of content. According to Opt-in Monster, 72% of customers said they would rather learn about a product or service by the way of video. This is likely because it asks very little of them other than to watch what's happening on screen and decide whether they'd like to continue watching or watch more like it. Not everybody enjoys reading, but they are usually willing to give a video a chance to capture their attention. It is estimated that you tend to have about 3 seconds to catch their attention, so ensure that your video title is tempting enough to convince them to stay for the content. With video, you could try turning your blog posts into a video version or a vlog where you chat to your audience. You could use behind-the-scenes video glimpses into your operation. You could create a podcast and record a video version of you in action. This is known as a vodcast. You could have introduction videos to each of your products showing the features. You could tell the story of your business, and you can also create how-to guides on your products. Images are another great visual asset for your content marketing strategies. They present an opportunity to condense the information that you might want to deliver in a blog post for people who aren't willing to take the time to read it. Infographics, in particular, enable you to communicate the main point that you want to deliver with maximum effectiveness for most audiences. It is vital that you use consistent branding, be it through the fonts, colours, or the style of the images. Images are also a great way of presenting your products and services through a professional lens, or providing a peek behind the scenes of who you are and what you do. You could try statistics and facts infographics. You could share reviews and testimonials. You could do product feature images, or use awareness days and social media calendar images, for example World Book Day. Podcasts are a much more time-consuming method of content marketing, but when done right, they can bring a whole new audience who will return for more of what you have to offer. The podcast industry has experienced massive growth, and it is worth almost £10 billion worldwide. The big benefit is that they can be listened to almost anywhere whilst doing other things, so they are well worth investing time and effort into creating. Podcasts allow for a huge amount of imagination, given that they can be in any format you wish and about any subject. Consider the approach you want to take before you launch into creating one. Some types that you could try are interviews with industry experts, radio-style edits with different themed sections, or meet the team chats with your staff and colleagues. eBooks are another form of content marketing that require a bigger amount of your time and effort to bring to the market, but the authority that a published book can provide your brand can be huge. If you have the industry knowledge to be able to write a book on the subject, it gives your brand a lot of credibility. Inject your knowledge into the book and make it available to download directly from your website, either free or for a charge. You can go one step further and use a platform such as Amazon's Kindle Direct Publishing to make your ebook available on a huge global marketplace, or even have it turned into a paperback that is available print on demand. Subjects that you could try are a biographical look at yours and your business's origins, an expert guide to the industry that you're in, or an expert guide to the products and services that you supply. The main thing to remember when working your content marketing strategy is that it is not meant to directly sell your products or demand purchases from your audience. It should be intended to raise awareness of and trust in your brand, so when the prospect is ready to become a customer, your business is the first one that they think of. This is the final chapter of part 1 in this audiobook. In part 2, I will talk you through the comprehensive journey of building a brand effectively from scratch. Part 2, Chapter 1, An Introduction to Building a Brand. Your brand is absolutely the most important aspect of any level of marketing, and growing your business from small operation to blossoming empire will be nigh on impossible to do without it. Starting a business without fully appreciating and cultivating the brand would be a cardinal sin. So, what is a brand and how does it differ from a business? Well, your business is who you are, what you do and what you offer. Your brand, however, is the aspect of the business that dictates how it is presented, how it interacts with customers in all ways, whether that's through the website, social media or advertising, and it's what its reputation is. For example, in the case of marquee hirers and event planners, the business may be hiring and erecting and decorating marquees for private and business customers, but the brand would focus on delivering reliability, luxury and quality to any event. Businesses have names, products, logos, colours, fonts, a personality and a story that make up who they are and affect how they are identified, and all of these things together equal the brand. Did you know that presenting your brand consistently across all platforms can increase revenue by up to 23%? This audiobook is going to present to you all of the individual considerations that you should be putting into building a brand effectively, and where appropriate, I will provide you with a hypothetical example to help you to visualize the process. Also, where appropriate, I will encourage you to perform the same activity to put some meat onto the bones of your own brand and hopefully get you thinking more like a marketer. The key considerations that you must take on board when building a brand are: who is my ideal customer? What personality and values does my brand hold? What is my brand's story? Who is my competition and what do they do well? What's in a business name? And what could my branding look like? By constructing your brand using these questions step by step, you should gain a greater understanding of what your company is all about. Now, let's get started. Part 2, Chapter 2, The Ideal Customer Profile. So, you've got your business idea or your brand new invention that solves problems that nothing else can, or at least nothing else can like yours. So now it's time to think about how you're going to sell it, and just as importantly, who you're going to sell it to. Whatever your product, you need to know for whom it has a value. So, who will you sell your products and services to? I recommend that you don't say everybody. It just doesn't work. If you focus on everybody, then you can get spread too thin, which in turn can appeal to nobody. Knowing who you're speaking to when you post an advertisement or write a blog will make your job of actively selling stuff much easier. You need to have an ideal client in mind and imagine that they are whom you are speaking to with your marketing and your brand message when the time comes. Having a strong mental image of your perfect client will help to shape how your company is presented and the way it interacts with customers. Did you know that creating an ideal customer profile can help your business to receive up to 5 times better performance in email marketing campaigns? There are 2 defined approaches to building an ideal customer profile. One is from a business perspective, in terms of the types of business that you want to appeal to and how a particular industry communicates. For example, a client in the financial technology industry is likely to communicate differently to one in the construction industry, which in turn will communicate differently to the medical sector. Focusing on business profiles, you would need to build the following information: the industry that the business is in, the company ownership, for example, is it a family business or a corporation? What kind of budget do they have available? What is the size of the business in terms of the employees or the annual revenue? And what is the location of the business? It is less important to have the ideal business profile than it is to have the ideal persona of the person that makes the decisions, which is called the buyer persona, and relates directly to the people making those purchases, be it a person within a business or an individual consumer who buys your product or service for personal use. Did you know that knowing who you are targeting can increase your website traffic by 210%? It is important to know your ideal customer profile not simply so you can adapt your marketing material accordingly, but it will help you to understand where your best chance of regular revenue is going to come from. If your company supplies a product or service which has an ideal customer base of men in their early 20s with a keen interest in supercars, then you know that this is where you need to dangle your fishing rod, and it will help you to avoid inadvertently promoting your goods to ladies in their 70s with a keen interest in knitting. To build a buyer persona for your ideal company employee or individual consumer, you should use the following: their age, their gender, their income, their job title, their hobbies and interests, their values, and their family status. Listing that information for your perfect client will enable you to build your brand around what will appeal to that person. Remember, you are a business and you are selling your services and products. It's your job to make them appealing to the people that are most likely to buy them. If you have more than one ideal customer profile, then absolutely do create as many as you need, so that you can amend your strategies accordingly. Here's a great example, and I recommend that you work alongside me to put your own ideal customer profile down on paper before starting the next chapter. For my brand new company, I'm going to focus on providing event planning and entertainment for a young, trendy audience that is savvy with technology and will always stop to take a selfie or create a short video so that they can post it on social media platforms such as TikTok or Instagram. This ideal customer will be aged between 18 and 25 and female. She will have a high income or a wealthy family. She will be employed in media, marketing or technology in a high-wage city such as London or Manchester. Her hobbies and interests will include global travel, attending music festivals, vintage clothing and jewellery, and quirky home improvements. She will value friendship and family, and be sensible with money but also love to let her hair down, and she would also like to settle down eventually. Her family status is that she is single or in a long-term relationship but not yet engaged. Now why don't you have a go? Build an ideal buyer persona. Give them a name if it helps, bring them to life, and when you complete the rest of your brand plan and social media strategies, have that person in mind. Consider how they might feel when they see your logo, or follow you on social media, or what they might respond to when they land on your website. Don't fall into the trap of feeling like you're leaving anybody out or focusing too much on one age group, or gender, or any of the other categories. Whilst there are a growing number of female competitors within racing, a huge percentage of Motorsport Supplies brand Gala Performance's client base is a male business owner aged 35 plus with a high disposable income and a family unit. There is little point to spending time and budget trying to appeal to the young lady aged 18 to 25 who visits festivals. Knowing who your audience is will help you to sell more of your products and services. Part 2, Chapter 3, Brand Values. Many of the defined aspects of your ideal customer's life and personality relate to who they are on the outside and what their life consists of. The one which deals most closely with who they are as a person and what they hold on the inside, and arguably the most important in gaining their trust, would be their values. What they hold most dear in terms of the behaviours and attitudes they wish to live by are how they give trust and affection to not just the people they choose to let into their lives, but the brands and products they choose to remain loyal to. Social media has enabled long-distance relationships to occur with people we have never met in person before. Take a look through your friends list on your preferred social media platform. How many new friends have you made through a shared online interest? People can make those same relationships with brands that they feel share the same values, engaging with them regularly and ultimately becoming a long-term customer of their products and services. So what are brand values? In short, they are core beliefs, behaviours and objectives that you strive to achieve with every interaction, and how you'd like to be remembered after each one. They are what you and your business stand for, as well as what can make you stand out in your market as unique and worth investing time, money and an emotional connection in. Here are some popular examples of brand values which are intended to get you thinking about how to approach your own. Adaptability. A brand which holds adaptability in high regard can change their strategies quickly and mould their operation according to the market. If a challenge arises, an adaptable company can quickly adjust to overcome it and continue operating with minimal disruption. Innovation. Never standing in one place for too long, the innovator has boundless creativity and can find new ways of answering questions and solving problems. The innovator looks to break boundaries as it breaks the mould of what is expected of it in its industry and stands as offering unique value. Empathy. Compassionate and able to resonate with customers on a personal level, an empathetic brand can be seen to put itself in the customer's shoes and understands the struggles that they go through. An empathetic brand will often be viewed as a trusted source of comfort and reliability. Or social responsibility. Through activities such as reducing its carbon footprint, using vegan-friendly ingredients or committing to its charitable efforts, for example, a brand which holds social responsibility in high regard will be perceived as one which cares about how it can make a difference. It is a value that many people, especially Millennial and Generation Z, hold in high regard. Did you know that 64% of consumers say that shared values helped them to create a trusted relationship with a brand? While it can be easy to create values that are important to an ideal customer, be true to yourself and to what you want your brand to achieve. It is important that you build authentic values that you are invested in upholding and are able to uphold regularly, as trust is one of the most important factors in not just finding customers, but keeping them. A brand that is seen not to practice what it preaches can quickly lose the trust of its audience, and trust is very difficult to get back. In the digital age where people can interact with businesses through all manner of outlets, brands have become much more human to buyers than ever before. This means that when their digital presence is done well, a brand can almost be seen as a valued friend. By creating great brand values and then upholding them regularly, you can find many new friends who share them. So using the ideal buyer persona that I have created and considering how my business can make a difference to their lives, this new event planning brand will strive to become a trusted friend of its prospective client base. Our brand values will be playfulness. We want our customers to have a great time and remember the event for all of the right reasons. Interactions with the brand will be light and informal. We will be customer-centric. We will remember that without our customers we cannot build our brand, so we will listen to them and give them what they ask for. If something goes wrong, then we will strive to put it right as best we can. Another value would be popularity. By providing a playful, customer-centric service, we will aim to become the popular friend whose parties will be remembered and recommended by all of the clients and their guests that attend. And finally, our value will be kindness. Our new brand will never make the misfortune of others its source of fun, and with an arm around their shoulder, will support and guide its customers through the process with a gentle touch. Okay, so now think about your own experiences with brands and businesses in the past. How did the best ones make you feel? And how do you want to make your ideal customer feel? Remember to focus on what you can do and how you can do it instead of how you want to be seen. If you can effectively uphold the brand values that you build for your company, then being seen as you want to be seen will come organically. Part 2, Chapter 4, Brand Personality. If you know which values your brand represents and you know the ideal customer that you have in mind that shares those values, then you should also know what they would respond to and how your brand should be presented to gain their trust and encourage them to build an emotional connection with you. In a world where social media is often the main way of a brand speaking to its potential customer base, creating a personality for your brand is key. A great brand personality, done correctly, will speak directly to its ideal customer and give them a positive experience. All customer types are different, and very much the same way as the way we make friends and click with different people based on their own characteristics, different brand personalities will appeal to different customers. Some people may place a great deal of trust in a company's ability to make them laugh. Others may find that a brand that acts like the undisputed authority on a particular subject is what appeals to them. Brand personalities appeal to make an emotional connection with their prospects and customers and can drive the way the whole organisation operates. There are widely recognised as being 12 different brand personality types, each intending to build a different emotion or feeling within a customer. These are the Jester, a brand which injects humour and originality into its output, whether it's via the website or in person. Humour remains one of the greatest methods of building a connection with people. If you can make them laugh, then you give them a positive experience to remember you by. Remember though, that humour is subjective, which means that what you might find personally funny is not necessarily what everybody will find funny. The Jester requires confidence in your humour hitting the target. Consider brands such as Aldi, Innocent Smoothies and Old Spice. Then there is the Outlaw. The Outlaw embraces its rebellious side and likes to shock and excite its audience. The Outlaw promises to play by its own rules and skirt around the edge of decency. It is a brand personality that appeals to people of a similar nature and enables them to live vicariously through its brand. It is important to remain on the right side of decency and throw an arm of support around the audience as they are guided by the aspirational punk ethos of the Outlaw. Some brands that embrace the Outlaw would include Brewdog Beer, Harley-Davidson or MTV. Did you know that 71% of consumers will recommend a brand with whom they have an emotional connection? Another brand personality would be the Explorer. The Explorer is driven by a sense of adventure and freedom. It wants to show the world a whole host of experiences and challenges. It will push on into new frontiers with no restrictions or boundaries that can hold them back. The Explorer is inspired by risk and discovery and promotes individuality. This is a brand persona that is quite strongly embedded in sport. And brands such as Red Bull and GoPro embrace the Explorer personality. Then there is the Lover. The Lover reminds its audience of their relationships, whether romantic, family or friendly relationships. A brand which is a lover is built to tap into the emotion of personal connection with another. It aims to evoke emotions tied to love and kinship, and also connect with people on a deeper level. Brands that embrace the Lover personality would be Chanel or Häagen-Dazs. Then there is the Caregiver. The Caregiver is understanding and selfless. It is reliably empathetic and knows the troubles that its audience may have or be going through. A brand that is a caregiver is entirely focused on the needs of its audience. They are trustworthy and their whole persona is one of compassion. Consider brands such as Pampers, Help for Heroes or Calpol. Did you know that 86% of consumers say they prefer an authentic and honest brand on social media platforms? The Everyman. The Everyman is the brand that stands up for everyone. It is relatable, acceptable and universally loved. It interacts with its audience in a laid-back and approachable manner, delivering honesty and likability in equal measures and blending in with the trends. It is the persona taken on by mainstream organisations, and when done well, it can transform a brand into a household name. Everyman brands would include Budweiser, Asda or IKEA. Then there is the Magician. The Magician has grand ideas and thinks outside of the box for how to bring those ideas to reality. They are a problem solver and look to break boundaries in different ways to the Outlaws, looking to boundaries of possibility as opposed to the boundaries of moral acceptability. The Magician might well have plenty of competitors in its field, but as a visionary, it is intent on doing things very differently and standing out for it. Consider brands such as Tesla, Disney and Dyson. Then there is the Hero. Performance-driven, the Hero is a brand that inspires and exudes a can-do approach. There are no limits to what this brand can achieve and demands the same drive of its audience. The Alpha brand persona, the Hero has goals that it expects to achieve and creates new goals with every achievement it hits. Many sports and vehicle brands are built around the Hero persona. A brand which wants to be perceived as a winner will often embody the traits of the Hero. Consider brands such as Nike, Land Rover and Adidas. The Creator. The Creator has a similar ethos to the Magician as a brand in that it looks to stand out in new and creative ways, but embodies more of an artistic flair to its approach than a mystical one. The Creator is innovative and authentic, pushing to make change happen in its own image. It strives for individuality in new ways and is another brand persona which looks to stretch and bend boundaries to make a difference. Consider brands such as Apple and Lego. Did you know that 89% of consumers say they will stay loyal to a brand that shares their values? Another personality would be the sage. The sage is knowledgeable and authority in its field and provides an education. The sage can be trusted to teach you what it knows and knows what it is teaching you. A sage brand persona will dig that bit deeper into the subject and open your eyes to new ideas on the theme. In creating a sage persona, you are telling your clients that you are the expert. Follow your lead and everything will be just fine. Consider brands such as Google, Wikipedia, and Gala Education and Marketing. The ruler. The ruler is a role model and an industry leader. It has power and control and is often the market leader in its field. It demands only the best and it suggests that it is the best in itself. The ruler is a strong brand persona and something which you might evolve into over time. It takes a huge amount of confidence in your brand to step out and be the ruler. Consider brands such as Aston Martin, Rolex and Microsoft. Finally, there's the innocent. Simplistic and wholesome, the innocent is a soft brand persona that appeals to the kind-hearted and good-natured. It seeks harmony and looks to fix what is broken through kindness and purity, and is youthful. The innocent is a popular persona amongst health and beauty brands, as well as some children's brands, including Dove and Nintendo. Now I will continue my hypothetical example. So using the ideal customer from the previous chapter, my new event planning business is going to have a personality that is light, bouncy, lots of fun but very down to earth. It will be inclusive and modern and have a positive focus on the be kind message. It will feel warm and secure and be a friend to its audience. It will also have a touch of class, which will in turn highlight great value for money that justifies the intended price tag for our services. We will be a company that people want to engage with and aspire to booking an event with. So my new company is going to embrace the caregiver brand persona with elements of the innocent. Now why don't you have a go? Take your ideal customer profile and consider the kind of business that they would relate to. What kind of language would they respond to? What do they hold important that your new brand can tap into? Use that and build a brand personality. Will you be cheeky or proud, confident or humble? Will you give plenty of advice before you're asked, or will you welcome inquiries? Consider all of this and select a brand persona. It is possible that you might want to embrace more than one, so just select a primary persona and add elements of the others. Part 2, Chapter 5, The Brand Story. The story behind your brand is very important. Will you tell your own personal story about the pain point that you encountered that brought you to bring your product or service to market, or will you create a fictional mystery around the origins of the brand to help with its identity? In this digital age, it's no longer acceptable for companies to be seen as faceless entities that provide a service or product and nothing more. Having a brand story will help you to connect with your audience, building a trust that you're genuine and have experienced the same problems that they did. By humanizing your company, you can bring it to a level of connectivity and accessibility that it cannot reach otherwise. What a story does is allow your ideal customer to be drawn into the romanticism of your brand and fall in love with your beginnings. Whether you're a marquee hirer or you make and sell soap, chocolate or cheese, a good backstory can take your brand to amazing places. Did you know that 80% of people are more willing to consume blatant brand advertising as long as it is delivered in the form of a compelling story? Weaving your story into the brand will also give you an opportunity to stand out against your competition, especially on the internet where there are billions of websites and outlets available for consumers to visit. It is your chance to deliver a truly unique experience. Nobody else can tell your story, so use it to your advantage. A fantastic example of a romantic brand story that captured the imaginations of thousands would be a small business in York by the name of York Ghost Merchants. This small business was formed in 2019 to create and sell exclusive and distinctive ornamental ghosts as a memento of York. The business built an ancient myth around the legend of the sorrowful guild of master ghost makers and operated out of a small Georgian-style shop with the staff dressing up of the era, giving each of their small product a personality as they spoke with the customers. The The story of the York Ghosts travelled online very quickly, and now each of their monthly and weekly launches of a new product via the website sells out within seconds, and customers queue for dozens of metres to access the small shop to purchase their ornaments and keepsakes of their time in York. This is a brand story that is done to perfection. Did you know that people are twice as likely to make a purchase if they enjoyed the brand's story? With Gala Tent, we tell the story of how our CEO Jason couldn't find any marquees to hire at the turn of the millennium for his parents' pub. Eventually he was forced to purchase stock to cover his needs, and this pain point became the idea of a business. If they were stuck in such a situation, then surely there would be hundreds, if not thousands, of other establishments feeling the same. Jason invested what funds he had available to him in the form of a £2,000 credit card limit and purchased all the marquee stock that he could find. He began to sell them as Millennium marquees. Very quickly the stock was all sold and he began to import further tents to cover the demand. Gala Tent found their niche, selling luxury products at prices that people were not used to buying them at. 24 years later, this story is central to the brand and how Gala Tent found success in its field. These are just two examples of a brand story. One, a romantic legend that adds mystery to a small business, and another, the story of a pain point being solved to great effect. With my hypothetical brand, I will tell the story about how the COVID-19 pandemic saw many people staying at home, forced to find ways of entertaining themselves in their houses and gardens. To give themselves extra sheltered space during lockdowns, the company owners bought a high-quality marquee and began to decorate it for their own private parties, both in the strictest lockdowns and when there was a rule of 6. They gave each party a theme and they dressed up to feel like they were able to go out and about and help their mental health by creating a degree of normality in a strange time. After a while, when lockdowns were easing, some of their friends asked them to set up a party at their houses, using some of the props and decorations they'd acquired. The parties went down as a big hit amongst their friends on social media, and a business idea was born. They bought a couple of larger marquees for when the rules lifted further, and now they're offering high-end, fully decorated entertainment packages in marquees at people's homes. They added catering and other services such as projectors for watching films, dance floors, and have great partnerships with talented singers who come to offer private concerts within the party tents. Why don't you have a go? Remain true to your brand personality that you've chosen for your company and create a brand story. Remember that you're looking to connect with your ideal customer persona, so tell the story that will resonate with them. If there was a problem that needed solving that your new product or service solved, then be sure to play on that pain point and the relief that the solution provided. Your story is going to set you apart from your competitors, so make it interesting, make it human, and give your company a soul. Part 2, Chapter 6, Competitor Analysis. Competitor analysis is another vital aspect of your brand building process. Understanding what your competitors do better than anybody else and what they don't do as well as anybody else will help you to figure out where you need to work hardest to match their levels and fill the gaps in their game. Knowing how your competitors operate in all aspects of their branding, as well as the products and services they offer, will give you key insights into how your business should run, who you should be targeting, where you need to be fishing for customers, what kind of brand you need to be, and how you can stand apart from alternative providers of your products and services. Competitors can come in different forms. A direct competitor is of a similar size to yours, offers the same products and services to you, and targets the same markets whilst operating at the same market share as you will expect to have. If you are a sole trading carpet fitter, for example, your direct competition comes from other carpet fitting sole traders in the area that you operate. Indirect competitors are a brand whose products and services might solve a similar problem, but are in fact a different thing. For example, a health-conscious energy drink and sparkling spring water both solve the problem of quenching a consumer's thirst, but they are different products. Essentially, indirect competitors will fish in the same lake, but they will use different bait. The third type of competitor is known as a replacement competitor, also known as a substitute competitor. This type of organisation is one which supplies something that your customer could use instead of yours. These are a little trickier to figure out as a brand looking at replacement competitors from scratch, but if you approach the matter as a brand looking to become a replacement competitor, then you may well begin to understand where your own competition is. Using Gala Tent as the example, the company supplies heavy-duty pop-up gazebos and entered the outdoor markets sector, supplying their product as a substitute for old frame and tabletop market stalls. They have now become widely used alternatives to the traditional methods. So, what do you need to consider when conducting a competitor analysis? Well, first you must evaluate if the company or brand is a direct, indirect or replacement competitor. You will need to consider what the range of products or services on offer is, which market the firm primarily targets, and does the company operate in your local area? The biggest threat to your success is going to come from direct competitors, so put plenty of focus on analysing and building a plan to stand apart from those. But you may well just learn a thing or two from your indirect and replacement competitors about how to sell to people who have a specific need. To find the companies and brands that are your competition, get online and perform the kind of search that you might do to find your solution. So, if you supply a certain product, make several types of search. Search the broad type of product or service that you offer, for example, cakes. Then search the product or service but with for sale or equivalent terms added to the search, for example, cakes for sale. And then search the product or service but with near me or equivalent terms added to the search, for example, cakes for sale near me. Each of those searches will bring up different results and will give you an idea of the biggest competition that you face, both directly and indirectly. There'll be bigger names than others and some more local than others, and it's important that you don't limit your competitor research to Google or other search engines. Use social media and review sites to find social proof of what they do well. Investigate their website thoroughly if they have one. Look at their services and prices. Check out their About Us page if they have one. It's up to you to know what your competitor is all about. Understanding who else is working within your industry sector will push you to develop and improve what you do. You'll sell yourself more, and when you sell your product or service, find ways of showing how much better than the competition you are. Stand apart from the competition for all of the right reasons. It will be beneficial to you and your business to do an analysis of each competitor in your field to ensure that you are as savvy with your industry and the players in it as possible. But if there are dozens of them, then it is likely that you can take a good cross-section of them and add to your list as you go. Start with the biggest and most local names, then move through the ones who trade at your level. Keep the analyses that you complete and update them as regularly as you can, particularly when it comes to prices, any new services added, or stock levels. If you'd like to have a go at a competitor analysis, spend some time online and search for the kinds of things that you might search for your business and the products and services that you supply. Find the business which appears at the top of the page first as an exercise. You might wish to complete more than one as part of your brand plan. Some of the criteria that I recommend you include would be the name of the business, the services or the products they offer, their pricing structures, how easy is it to navigate the website, what kind of social media presence do they have, how many Facebook followers do they have, or how often do they post on Facebook or Instagram, what kind of content do they post, how many reviews do they have across the different platforms, what do they do best, and what are they missing, and which gap can you fill in their offering. Having this information enables you to consider where you might fit into the mix. If neither of them have a strong social media presence, then you might find that you can fill that void. If they promote nothing but the work that they've done, then you can be the brand which engages with prospects and clients. If they are the most expensive on the market, look at why this might be. What did they offer that you haven't thought of yet? Part 2, Chapter 7. What will your business name be? What's in a name? As a business owner, your company's name is probably one of the first big commitments that you must make. It's going to appear on everything that you do, including your bills, bank account and website, as well as your business card, your uniform if you intend to have one, and your social media profiles. Your business name will convey all of the things that you want to say to your customer in a very short space. If you have ever watched The Apprentice, you'll have seen the teams try to come up with dynamic one-word names for their teams and businesses. Endeavour, synergy, intelligentsia and other such words. Your company name will be with you for a long time and is going to reflect the service that somebody might expect to receive, and it will also mould the rest of the branding that you create. Consider your logo and what that might look like if you're called Jason Mace Event Planning and Marquee Hire versus JM Events. As you start your journey to global domination, it will help to have a name that is memorable so that people can remember it when they're recommending you to family and friends. It must also be unique enough to ensure that A, you're not trying to use somebody else's trademarked name, and B, so that you can claim the necessary social media platforms and web domain names. Try out your name on a few friends and family, offering alternatives and asking them to pick their favourites, or ask their honest thoughts at least. Some popular ways of creating a brand name can include, but aren't limited to, initial and acronym based. Businesses such as International Business Machines and His Master's Voice found their names shortening over time to IBM and HMV, as their initializing was much more memorable. They roll off the tongue, so consider the ease of saying and remembering a company name like that. There are literal descriptions. It is not a particularly sexy type of company name, nor does it require a massive imagination, but it is effective in conveying what the company does. Be mindful that if you plan to expand and grow your company, that it may outgrow its name. For example, if you're the Marquee Hire Company, but you expand into organising and hosting corporate events or festivals, or you're Frank's Flutes, but you venture into other new and exotic instruments, you become what your name suggests you are not. Then there are foreign translations. Foreign translations give your brand a certain degree of exotic flair and are particularly popular in hospitality. Take pret-a-manger for example. Its literal translation is ready to eat, and the translation is supposed to conjure up the image of fine French dining, when in fact it is a UK-based coffee shop. Wagamama is a UK-based restaurant chain that serves Japanese-style food. Its translation? Selfish. It is a bold move and when done right, can deliver a certain mystery to your brand. You could consider an abstract or a made-up word. This would be a bold move for a startup, but made-up words generally guarantee that your business name is unique. Think Google, Xerox, Pixar, Smiggle or Kodak. The process of creating a made-up business name can be fun and will allow you a massive scope for coming up with the ideal word to conjure emotion in your customers. But finding the right one isn't necessarily easy. Don't just make a noise and call that your business name. You need to think about it. Did you know that Google's very first brand name was Backrub, and even the name Google came from a misspelling of the word Google? A good variation on this type of brand name would be what is known as a portmanteau, which is two words smashed together to create a new one, such as Brexit or Alcopop. Think Netflix, which is Internet and Flicks, or Groupon, Group and Coupon. Think of words which are relevant to your business and what it offers. Can they be merged? You could consider descriptive words as your brand name. Words that can describe what kind of company you are and the type of service you can offer are an alternative method of coming up with names, although they don't give a great chance of securing stuff like trademarks since it's very difficult to trademark a single word, especially for a startup. Get online or find a thesaurus and dig out synonyms. For example, if you want to give the feeling of luxury, consider also words like opulence, splendour, magnificence and lavish. Did you know that 72% of the world's best-known brands are acronyms or made-up words? You could try pun-based names. Using words which relate to your product or service in a contextual way that is either humorous or intended to be memorable is a risky strategy, but it may work. It is something which, when done correctly, might stick in your prospect's mind longer than a descriptive or a literal name, and point to an approachable and relatable brand. But when you do it incorrectly, it can be a huge turn-off. A pun-based name relies heavily on the audience not just understanding, but also appreciating the joke. They are particularly popular with local businesses such as salons and barbers. If your business is intended to grow and develop beyond your premises, then be sure to think carefully about your choice to use a pun-based name. To ensure the largest possible audience, it is recommended that you avoid crude or puerile humour and stay on the right side of clever in the wordplay. So now let's go back to my example brand. I want my brand name to give off an exclusive but playful aura, something that appeals to young women as per the ideal customer profile and gives an idea of what the new brand is going to do. Using the brand name types I've discussed, some ideas could be literal, the Marquee Garden Party Company. It says what my brand will do, but I don't think it says anything to my target customer profile. I could choose a portmanteau name, such as the Tentertainment Boutique. Boutique is a very fashionable word just now, alongside other words such as artisan, and it might appeal to a younger, stylish audience. It is a word that gives off an air of class, but again, does the tentertainment part of the name shout at my ideal customer? Then there is a foreign translation, la femme fête. This translates as party woman from French and gives a mysterious yet elegant aura to the company. It tells my ideal customer that this is a company that is for people like her. She's fashionable, intelligent, and up for the party. Taking the translation a step further, a fête is a word we now use in the English language when we refer to an outdoor celebration, so the meaning can be applied twofold. I quite like that one, so in this example, my new fashionable ladies' garden party planning brand is going to be called La Femme Fête. Now why don't you have a try? Using the examples of business names that I've mentioned, create some potential options. Go for initials or acronym-based names, literal description names, foreign translations, abstract or made-up names, descriptive names, and pun-based names. Part 2, Chapter 8. What will your brand look like? Once you've got the name down, you're going to need to think about how you'll visually represent your brand, namely your colours and typography. This is going to come in handy when you start to build your website. Choosing your colours. Colours don't just define the look of your brand from an aesthetic perspective. The colours you choose will help your customer base to recognise and remember you. It will become an integral part of how your branding will take shape. Your logo, website, social media visuals, uniform if you have one, and the decoration of your premises will all be shaped by the colours that you use. But it isn't simply about the visuals and ensuring you have your branding 100% on point. There is a psychology to the colours that you use and how they might be perceived by customers and prospects. Through colours, you will help them to form a solid first impression of you and how you may make them feel about doing business with you. Red. A bold colour to choose and one which should be used carefully. Red has long been associated with danger, passion and power. It is intended to invoke feelings of excitement, youthful defiance, energy and confident fearlessness. It is also seen as the colour of winners. The most successful sports teams such as Manchester United, Liverpool and Arsenal all embrace the colour red. It features very strongly in the branding of Coca-Cola, Virgin, Levi's, Nintendo and McDonald's. Pink. The more softer, warm tone of red, pink is a colour which remains on the spectrum of passion, but with a more elegant vibe. Pink is associated with love, respect, sensitivity and femininity. It is a welcoming, respectful and safe colour, intended to provide comfort. See brands such as Barbie, Victoria's Secret and Avon for good examples of pink at work. Purple. Creativity and individuality are the key factors in the use of purple as a brand colour. It is one which sits comfortably between masculinity and femininity. It is a long accepted colour of calm sophistication, and as one of the rarest colours in nature, it is seen as a colour which is luxurious and gives visions of wealth. See iconic brands such as Hallmark, Cadbury's and the Premier League for examples of purple in use to great effect. Did you know that consistent colour palette usage across all platforms improves brand recognition by 80%? Yellow. Like the sun, yellow is a bright and cheery colour. It is used to grab attention, given its striking brightness. Yellow as a colour in branding is intended to promote positivity, optimism and happiness. Many companies will use it sparingly and alongside other contrasting colours such as black, blue or red. See brands such as Ferrari, Chupa Chups and IKEA as effective uses of yellow within a logo. Green. Historically and generally referred to as the colour of money, green has been used to great effect to denote growth and wealth. Although, as time has gone on, green has also taken on strong tones of being close to nature and ecology. It evokes feelings of balance, health and reassurance. Brands such as Body Shop, Asda, Starbucks and the National Trust use green to promote their values. Blue. Productive, reliable and traditional, blue is one of the most popular colours in branding. A brand which uses predominantly blue is known to give off the aura of coolness and order, and it doesn't take risks. It is one which wants to be trusted, and blue is the colour to help the brand to achieve that. There are hundreds of brands which use blue as their main colour, including the NHS, LinkedIn, Oral-B, Ford and Visa. Did you know that 1/3 of the world's top 100 companies use blue in their branding? Orange. A bright colour at the same end of the spectrum to yellow and red, orange is a colour which gives off an impulsive energy. It demands attention with its eye-catching tones and brings emotions that are associated with excitement, creativity, freedom and success. An orange brand is extroverted and confident. Think Amazon, Nickelodeon, Fanta and Harley-Davidson for brands whose primary colour is orange. Black. A sophisticated and confident colour, sometimes and wrongly with a negative reputation for darkness and oppression, black is one which is symbolic of confidence, power and authority. As a shade which absorbs all light, it is often used entirely monochrome. Black is a serious and prestigious colour, and when used correctly, will give off a stylish and iconic aura. Many household names use monochrome black logos such as Chanel, Adidas, Jack Daniel's, Nike and MG. Grey. A less imposing shade than the authoritative black, grey is clean, stable and neutral, but can often be mistaken for dull. However, when used with other colours, the grey can sit as an effective backup shade that makes other colours stand out more. It is an understated and mature colour which can bring to mind words such as wisdom, experience and sophistication, and is being used more and more by new brands. Companies such as Apple, Mercedes and Wikipedia are brands which use a strong grey palette in their logos. White. Purity, cleanliness and innocence are the words attached to the use of white in branding. It brings to mind elegance and a class of white weddings, as well as new beginnings. White represents a blank canvas. It offers the opportunity for a minimalist approach to your brand, but when used in excess, can be negatively perceived as simply empty, unfilled space. Purely white logos are quite rare, and are usually either an inverted version of a grey or black logo, such as Nike, Uber, Chanel, or white text with a darker background, such as Nestle. So you've chosen your colours. You have everything coming together by now, and the visuals of your brand are taking shape because you should be more confident in your understanding of the type of company that you want to be. After the colours, it's also good to look at the fonts you might want to use on your logo, your website, posters, emails, packaging, and in all forms of literature such as leaflets and brochures. This is also known as the typography of your brand. As with the use of colour in your branding, the typography you use will also present an opportunity to build a connection with your prospects and audience. It will enable you to present your products, services, and indeed yourself in a way that gets the message across in the most effective way. Because such a huge part of your communication with your audience is done via your typography, it is vital that you get it right. It demonstrates a consistency that will generate trust that your brand is a professional. Some things to consider when selecting your fonts are readability, purpose, and permissions. Considering the readability. It is vitally important that your audience is able to actually read the message that you're delivering. A curly, elegant typeface might be visually appealing, but can you expect your customers to put in the work required to understand what it says? Equally, a pale grey text on a white background that forces them to strain their eyes to pick out the readable words is just simply asking them too much. It cannot be stressed enough that your job as a product or service provider is to make understanding and buying what you do as easy as possible. So make your fonts clear, crisp and easy to read. Then the purpose. There are several purposes that you should select typography for. For simplicity's sake, let's begin with 3, which will be your logo, your website and literature headings, and the text of your letters, marketing emails and website content. The logo font needs to be representative of what your company is all about, and will tie in directly to your brand's story, personality, and buyer persona. It is your prospective customers' first experience of your brand, and what they will likely see more of than anything else, so try to make it distinctive and reflective of what you do. For example, if your company supplies high-tech machinery, would this be reflected by a rustic, old-time logo font? Equally, if you supply homemade bread and cakes to order, would that be suited with a retro 1980s digital font? There will be more on designing a logo shortly. The headings font will be your audience's next interaction with you and what you do, be it through the website, in your prospecting emails or through your leaflets. The typography you use here will sell your products through the atmosphere your heading creates. If you're intent on using an elegant swirling font within your branding, then your headers would be a good place for it, because the header will be usually several points larger than the rest of your content, therefore much easier to read, and it will set the tone for the rest of the text, which will be typically much clearer. Finally, the body text font will be used when delivering important information to your audience. This should be clean and crisp, and ideally a good contrast to the background to ensure it is readable on both desktop computers and smartphones and tablets. Finally, permissions. It is very important to ensure that you have acquired the correct permissions to use a font or typeface for commercial use. Not all fonts are free, and you must gain a license to use them. Otherwise, you may find yourself falling foul of copyright laws. Fonts found on Microsoft, such as Arial and Cambria for example, are free to use commercially as part of your typography, but you may not want to use them liberally across the board because they are so widespread and they don't have that unique feel that you need for your logo to stand out. They would be perfectly fine in your web or brochure text though. There are plenty of online marketplaces available through which to purchase the license to your preferred fonts, and it is generally a lifetime license, so there's just one fee, and it can be anything from a few pounds up to £100. The good news is that not all font suppliers will charge a license, so it's worth digging around for one that works for you and your budget. Now, let's go back to thinking about your logo. After the name, your logo is probably one of the first things that come to mind when you think about building a brand from scratch. This is for good reason. It's the face of your company after all. Your logo will be everywhere that your brand exists in both the real world and digital domains. There are three main types of brand logo which will come in the form of image-based, text-based, or a combination of the two. Also known as icon logos, image-based logos can be broken down into the categories of abstract and brand mark. Text-based logos have a strong leaning towards words and letters and are highlighted by the three types being wordmark, lettermark, and letterform. Finally, combination logos are a combination of icons and texts and would be represented by mascot, combination marks, and emblem logos. Did you know that 10 seconds are enough for a consumer to form an opinion of your brand logo? Brand mark logos are intentionally unique and instantly identifiable to the brand, often linked in a subtle way to who the company is and what they do. Think Nike, Apple, and Twitter for example. The tick of positivity from Nike, which lines up with their Just Do It slogan, the universally accepted image of an apple, and the bird which signifies the tweets on Twitter. These are not logos which are being created by accident. They have an underlying meaning, some of which are more obvious than others. A brand mark logo is a strong and effective one. Abstract logos are also intentionally unique and instantly identifiable, but do not hold any true meaning to the nature of the brand, other than they represent the brand in itself and reflect its values. The red, white and blue circular icon of Pepsi, the green and yellow flower-like icon of BP Fuel, or the leaf icon of Adidas for example. They are instantly recognizable and carry weight without the need for a brand name. An abstract logo is a bold move, and one which allows you the freedom to create a subliminal and enjoyable visual that reflects what you do. Wordmark logos are a widely used method of creating a brand logo, if not the most popular method. Google, Facebook, Coca-Cola, Subway and Disney to name but a few household names whose logos are wordmark. The benefit to using them is that the name of the brand is immediately on show, and they don't ask the audience to already recognize the icon. The challenge in using wordmark as an icon lies in making the visual of the brand name as unique as possible. Think about Google's use of the individual coloured letters and the iconic G, or the arrows that come from the S and the Y in Subway logos. Tweaks like this are how you make your wordmark logo stand out, although remember to gain the license to use any font if you do take this route. Lettermark logos are not a million miles away from the full wordmark in terms of their advantages in creating a recognizable and understandable brand visual, and the challenges in making them more unique. The main difference is that the lettermark is focused more on abbreviations and the initials of the brand name, for example LG, GEM and JVC. These are perfect examples of lettermark logos in action. If you have chosen an initials-based brand name, then you'll be very likely to use a lettermark logo at the very least, or a combination mark, like the HMV logo. The rarest text-based icon, the letterform logo is often the short-form version of a much longer logo, and has grown in prominence since social media and the requirement to keep profile images smaller, usually circular or squared. If you use a wordmark logo, it is well worth creating a letterform version for exactly this reason. It will give you an opportunity to become more versatile in your branding. The Facebook F or the McDonald's Golden M are perfect examples of letterform in use. Other brands that use it to good effect are Yahoo and WordPress. Mascot logos are family-friendly and are strong draws when a brand wants to create an emotional connection with their audience and a memorable interaction. They, as their name suggests, are a character or a mascot of the brand, which speaks directly to the customer base, and when it is done well, is what they will fall in love with. KFC, Pringles and Monopoly all use mascots within their logos. With mascot logos, the character often sits within the confines of a wordmark or a lettermark logo, but in creating the mascot and using it across promotional material, a strong character will work with or without the text. If your brand is intended to appeal to families, and in particular children, then a strong character or a mascot logo may go a long way. Taking the most effective aspects of brandmark and wordmark logos and melding them to create a unique visual is where the combination mark logo comes in. Thousands of companies embellish their brand name with the addition of a recognizable motif. Fast food brands are well known for the combination of words and an image which reflects either the name or the product. Think about Domino's Pizza and the use of the domino icon, or Taco Bell and the bell icon, or the Burger King name sitting within a burger bun icon. Gala Tent's logo is a combination mark which uses a brand name beneath the pitched roof of a marquee tent, and an abstract representation of the Union Jack represents British values. Finally, an emblem logo is another combination of icon and text, but has a more traditional feel to it than a mascot or a brandmark combination. An emblem gives the weight of importance to the words of the brand name, and is a confident signifier of the quality and respectability of that brand. Great examples of an emblem logo would be the likes of Stella Artois, Warner Brothers Studios, Harley-Davidson motorcycles or Converse trainers. If you have a brand which has traditional values and want it to be seen as an authority on your products and services, then an emblem logo would be a bold choice. Building a brand doesn't stop with creating a logo or a slogan. Your brand needs to be consistent wherever your customers interact with you, from the theme you choose for your website to the marketing to customer services to the way you package and ship your products. Make sure that you're happy with your logo and are comfortably happy for it to be on everything that you do. Part 2, Chapter 9, Writing Your Slogan. While not every brand has one, a slogan is a useful and valuable asset when it comes to capturing the imagination of a prospective audience, and every brand should have one. A good slogan is intended to convey the values or benefits of a brand in a short, sharp burst. The slogan is another opportunity to stand apart from the competition, and when done right, it can make all the difference to a brand's identity and how it is viewed, and more importantly, how it is remembered. So what is a slogan? A slogan is a short line, usually no more than 5 or 6 words, that conveys what a company does and how it does it. It is entirely unique to the brand it belongs to, and is intended to build a connection to the people that hear it, so that they remember and identify the brand instantly when they hear it again. The most effective slogans of history have lived on long after the brand has disappeared. A slogan can and will feature alongside your logo on many of your platforms, which will provide a subtle and subliminal connection between the two, so that when somebody hears or reads the slogan, they associate it with your branding. So what kind of slogans are there? Well, depending on the industry that the brand sits in, a memorable slogan will be catchy and rhythmic like the chorus of a song. For example, KFC's Finger Licking Good, or Maybelline's Maybe She's Born With It, Maybe It's Maybelline. It might use alliteration or rhymes, for example, Beans means Heinz, or It's Not an Event Without Gala Tent. Some may use onomatopoeia, for example Rice Krispies and Snap, Crackle and Pop, and Mazda's Zoom Zoom. Some will make bold and confident claims, for example Carlsberg's Probably the Best Beer in the World, or Gillette's The Best a Man Can Get. It could be a powerful statement, such as Adidas's Impossible is Nothing, or Nike's Just Do It. and it can speak directly to the audience. For example, Burger King's Have It Your Way or L'Oreal's Because You're Worth It. But what benefit does a slogan have? Well, whilst they have been a part of advertising methods for several decades, slogans are particularly useful in today's fast-moving digital age where attention spans are shorter than ever. A good slogan will do the same in 5 or 6 words that an entire mission statement or About Us section of a website can do in many more. It effectively delivers the brand personality directly to your ideal buyer persona by resonating with their values. It is another opportunity to make your product or service more desirable to your target market. A slogan done well will make a customer feel something, whether it's humour that hooks them or it's the musicality of the words which embed themselves into the mind in the form of an earworm. Your aim is to make the slogan appeal to as many people in your target market as possible. In the digital age, consumers are far more suspicious of approaches from brands which feel too sales-driven. They do not appreciate feeling that they're being manipulated into connecting with something, and the association with your slogan can quickly change from positive to a negative one. So ensure that your products and services honestly reflect the promise made by your slogan. For my example, I'm looking to create an aspiration in my target audience. Our ideal customer must need to have La Femme Fête throw them a party. They want to be seen having a party hosted by La Femme Fête on social media, and they want to boast that they were able to get a booking. I could potentially use more French language, but let's avoid overkill, otherwise the marketing will probably be affected by artificial intelligence picking up too much foreign language, and search engines may not offer the new brand to UK-based customers as often as I would like. So let's go direct with this one, and let's go with Aspire to be La Femme Fête. It actively tells the ideal customer that they are missing out on something, that they should aspire to be a party woman with La Femme Fête. Nobody likes to think that they're missing out on something. So maybe now it's your turn. Think about your business and what it does. Create 3 or 4, 5 to 6 word slogans which sums up what you're going to do. Using your brand personality and ideal buyer persona, think about what will resonate with that perfect customer. Do they appreciate jokes and humour, or are they looking for reassurance that your product or service is what they need to solve their problems? Think about rhymes and the rhythm. Say the words out loud. Sing them if necessary. Write a slogan which says what your brand does, and write one that talks directly to the audience. Show off. Be bold. Part 2, Chapter 10, Recap. I hope that this audiobook has been of some help in getting you to think like a marketer, and if you have paid attention and created your brand along with me, then you should have something concrete to go away and work with. The point to this content is that creating your business and heading off to sell it is very rarely as simple as posting to your Facebook friends every day to tell them you're a business. You need to know who your products stand out to, why they stand out to them, and where they stand out to them the most. Remember, the key aspects of building a brand are: create an ideal customer profile, develop brand values that you can abide by, create a brand personality that resonates with your ideal customer, develop your brand story into something that people can relate to, know who your competition is and what they're doing, create a great brand name that can stand the test of time, think about how colours make different people feel, have a logo that stands out, use strong, clear typography in your brand guidelines, and experiment with brand slogans until you find something that works for you. Once you have your brand down on paper, you will be ready to begin the challenge of actively marketing it. Let's quickly recap on the types of digital marketing and what they are most effective for. Social media marketing is a great way to build awareness of who you are and gain a following organically, provided you create unique and engaging content. Don't fall into the trap of posting to your friends only. Build a new audience that is invested in your success. Search engine optimization is a great tool for capturing people who are actively looking for what you do. You will find more people in the buying stage of their customer journey than any other form of marketing with search engine optimization. Pay-per-click advertising on search engines is the fast track to the same destination as SEO, but it does come at a price. Content marketing is a great way to cover plenty of different bases. Write articles, contribute to podcasts, create videos on social media, and maybe even create an audiobook like this one. Content marketing can be a lot of fun and can be very, very effective in raising your profile. Email marketing offers a huge variety of message types for sending to your audience, provided that you have their permission to send them. And influencer marketing is not as simple as paying a celebrity to endorse your goods or services. Consider people with only 1,000 followers, particularly if they're an industry expert. They can often come at a lower cost and their audience is often far more engaged than that of the super celebrity. Thanks for listening. If you have any questions, then do feel free to find me on LinkedIn or Instagram, or find Gala Education and Marketing, or GEM, on your social media platform of choice. We will be always happy to help at any time. Please keep your eyes and ears open for my next audiobook, which will delve into the details of search engine optimization and how you can make it to the top of page 1 of Google for your business with a series of very easy to complete actions. Thanks again, take care, bye bye.